Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about The Mandalorian and why it was the best thing that could have happened to Star Wars. Let's go back to the year 2019 where The Mandalorian first premiered. In 2019 the situation with Star Wars was difficult. A lot of people were disappointed with the movie side of Star Wars. I personally enjoyed them, but they weren't flawless either. Besides that, 2018 Star Wars Rebels ended, which was an amazing show, but unfortunately animation never get the same recognition as live action. Some of the best Star Wars stories are in animation. For 2019 they had Star Wars Resistance, which was a show that was more oriented towards kids, and that show never reached the heights of Rebels or the Clone Wars. So you see, the situation was difficult. Star Wars really needed a project that has a huge audience and a united fandom, where people don't have to complain about literally everything, where everyone can have normal discussions without toxicity. A project that brings us to the origins of Star Wars, where everyone was just excited to see a space movie, in this case a space show. This project is The Mandalorian. There are tons of reasons why The Mandalorian can be considered the most successful and important project for Star Wars under the Disney banner. It was not an easy task, so you have to get the right people to do it. And these people are Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Everyone who dived a little bit deeper into Star Wars has heard the name Dave Filoni before. He's the guy who's responsible for Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Two projects that have a huge fandom and are considered to be some of the best Star Wars stories of all time. On the other side you have Jon Favreau, the showrunner of The Mandalorian, who is the director of many iconic movies such as Iron Man or the Christmas movie Elf. Putting those two together as a team should be one of the best decisions Lucasfilm has made over the years. On the creative side they also brought in directors who could easily handle their own Star Wars project, like Academy Award winner Taika Waititi, Rick Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard and Deborah Chow. But it wasn't just about bringing in great creative minds, it was also about the talent in front of the camera. If we take a look at the cast of season 1 of The Mandalorian, you will see a lot of great actors. Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian himself, was also a big reason this show succeeded. Just look how popular Pedro has become since The Mandalorian first premiered. Of course he was popular before because of Game of Thrones and Narcos, but his role as the Mandalorian really elevated him to the next level. Besides him you have many great legendary actors and filmmakers such as Carl Weathers, Werner Herzog and Nick Nolte. Iconic TV actors such as Giancarlo Esposito and Clancy Brown, they made Ming-Na Wen, who's a legendary actress, into a fan favorite bounty hunter. I could spend hours of telling you how great this cast is. And you can see how much fun they had making this show. They were like, hey Dave Filoni, do you want to be a New Republic pilot? Well, here's your X-Wing. There were a bunch of cameos from the directors, writers, crew people, which I think is very, very cool. And I haven't even talked about the biggest star of this show, Grogu. At the time he was just the child or baby Yoda, but his character is one of the reasons why this show became a global phenomenon. One thing I will always appreciate so much about Grogu is that Disney and Lucasfilm kept him a secret. They didn't show him in any trailer or Star Wars Celebration event, which made this surprise even better and the hype for the show even bigger. Honestly, Mando and Grogu have quickly become some of the most iconic Star Wars characters of all time. Everywhere I go, when I see something Star Wars related, it's either Darth Vader or Mando and Grogu. It's actually insane. But that just shows how big and impactful this show was and still is. And when season 1 premiered, I would say almost everyone loved or at least liked the show. There were little to none ridiculous online complaints or made up drama. Everyone embraced the show and appreciated the cast and the crew, and it was just a great time. And this is the project that Disney needed, and they succeeded. At the Emmy Awards that year, The Mandalorian Season 1 was nominated for 15 Emmy Awards, including Best Drama Series. To compare that to other Star Wars shows, The Book of Boba Fett was nominated for 4 Emmys, Obi-Wan Kenobi was nominated for 5 Emmys, Andor was nominated for 8 Emmys. From these 15 nominations, they went home with 7 Emmy wins, including Production Design, Cinematography Half Hour, Stunt Coordination, Sound Editing, Sound Mixing, Special VFX and Music Composition. Speaking about the music and earlier about bringing in creative minds, composer Ludwig Göransson is another reason for the success of this show. He brought a new flavor to Star Wars music. The Mandalorian theme is now one of the most iconic pieces of Star Wars music. One thing I also need to talk about is the budget of the show, so let's compare budgets from Star Wars shows. A season of Mando roughly costs $120 million for 8 episodes. Obi-Wan Kenobi cost about $90 million for 6 episodes, and Andor had the biggest budget with about $250 million for 12 episodes. While I agree that Andor, for example, looks phenomenal, they also had more than double the money than Mando. So I think it's really impressive how good Mando looks with half the money. But let's move on to Season 2. Season 1 was an introduction to the world of The Mandalorian. New characters, new planets, new concepts, and in general a new style of Star Wars storytelling. Season 2 did the same, but it was about combining this Mandalorian world to the larger Star Wars galaxy. We had more appearances and mentions of existing Star Wars characters and concepts, like the return of Boba Fett. Temuera Morrison, who plays Boba in The Mandalorian, waited so long to finally return to Star Wars. After voicing the character in several video games, he finally played the character in a live-action project. We also had the live-action debuts of Bo-Katan Kryze and Ahsoka Tano, two beloved characters from the Clone Wars, played by Katie Sackhoff and Rosario Dawson. They both nailed the characters, which led to happiness in the entire Star Wars fanbase. Season 2 even had a book character in the show with Cobb Vanth, played by Timothy Olyphant, which is amazing. And obviously, we had Luke Skywalker. The legendary Mark Hamill returned to the role. I admit the deepfake in Season 2 looks okay and not perfect, but again, this is a TV show with a TV budget, not a blockbuster movie with a huge movie budget. Luke in the Book of Boba Fett, however, looked amazing. Season 2 of The Mandalorian topped every rating of Season 1, which is incredible because Season 1 got really good ratings. The Mandalorian is still the highest rated Star Wars TV show with the highest rated episode on IMDb. The Season 2 finale is one of the highest rated episodes for a live action project of all time. Fans were loving this series. This led to 24 Emmy nominations, more than any other show that year. Nominations included Best Drama Series. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni got nominated for Best Writing, Jon Favreau got nominated for Best Directing, Giancarlo Esposito got a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and many more. At the end, they won 7 Emmys just like Season 1, which is still a great achievement. After Season 2, people realized that anything can happen in a Star Wars Disney Plus series. If Luke Skywalker can appear, where are the limits? The answer is, there are no limits. The Mandalorian proved that, and the other shows proved that too, which I think is a very good thing for Star Wars on Disney Plus. The Mandalorian is also a big reason why Disney Plus is as successful as it is. Mando was the reason people subscribed to Disney Plus. Marvel began doing shows in 2021 after already 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. So thanks to Mando we can have all these different shows that you see now. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, The Acolyte, The Bad Batch, the Tales series, and many more in the future. Mando started it and paved the way for other shows to succeed and to exist. A few years later, Season 3 came out, which wasn't as successful as the other 2 seasons, but it still managed to be the most streamed original series in 2023 in the US. It also got 9 Emmy nominations, which is still more than any other Star Wars show, including Andor. They managed to win the Emmy for Best Stunt Performance. So across 3 seasons, Mando won 15 Emmys with 48 nominations, which makes it one of the most successful TV shows in this decade. Like I said, Season 3 didn't get the recognition like the first 2 seasons, but the impact of the first 2 seasons were that big and strong that Season 3 felt a bit flat. Although it was a very fun season to me, but if it's not for you, it's not for you. It's that simple. Overall, The Mandalorian created a beautiful new corner of the galaxy with exciting new characters and planets, returning characters, live action debuts for animation and book characters, a great cast and crew with legendary actors, filmmakers and Star Wars icons. You can just see in the behind the scenes Disney Gallery episodes how much fun each and every one on the set had on this show. And with the success of this show, it's not surprising that the return of Star Wars to the movie theaters is The Mandalorian and Grogu, a movie. Maybe some of you are wondering why I made this video. I wanted to show why The Mandalorian is one of the most successful, impactful and important Star Wars projects in recent years. With all the negativity and toxicity in the fandom, I also want to remember that it wasn't always like this. To me, The Mandalorian shows how beautiful a Star Wars project can be as a show and as a fan community. What Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni created is just wonderful, and I need to say that because in this day and age, people always try to talk bad about certain stuff, and I'm just not like that. I want to focus on the stuff that I like, not the ones that I dislike, and The Mandalorian is one of the best projects in recent years. With all the Star Wars projects that are happening right now, it's easy to forget what has happened. But to me, it's always important to go back and appreciate the ones who started everything, and I just wanted to share that. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more cool Star Wars videos, leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on my socials for even more cool Star Wars content, link is in the description. Thank you again for watching, and always remember, this is the way, and may the Force be with you, always.